Wagwan.
Hello, hello. Welcome, members. Today we will be discussing how to tell if someone is interested in you. We think this is a great starting point on your love journey, just because a lot of you are starting at the phase of just being interested in someone and not knowing how to progress forward. Or if you should even progress forward, if you should make a move, or if you should be still. And then of course there comes into play lots of different questions like, well, what if the person is shy? How will I know if the person's interested in me? So we're gonna get into all of that in this video.
Okay then. Alright, so what are some of the first signs to tell if somebody is interested in you?
I definitely think that, there are surefire ways to know that somebody's interested in you. Of course, it's not always so clear, but we're going to start with the obvious. Some of the obvious ways I would say, and I'll just speak for the ladies. If you're a male wanting to know if a lady is interested in you.
Okay.
One signal would be eye contact. Is she making eye contact with you? I know for a lot of men, not all, but the gestures and the signals that women think are obvious to men are not obvious. And a woman will think, well, I gave him eye contact, I smiled at him, and he didn't make a move. And I think for men, sometimes those things kind of go over men's head, and I won't speak too much for the men, but I just think sometimes men have a lot of pressure to not cross certain boundaries, not cross certain lines, and they don't want to assume that a woman is interested by just making eye contact or smiling, right?
Yes. I think a lot of times, eye contact is tricky. Sometimes it could be just a look of curiosity. Sometimes it could be more than that. But yes, I would definitely give eye contact, a thumbs up to know if someone is interested. So I'll go with that one. And the easiest one of all I'll go with next is small conversation, small gestures, as men.
So for a woman that's not sure if a man is interested, you would say him making
small talk, some little small gestures, compliments, small compliment here and there, and the area of compliment. So I would think small talk is one,
Okay. Well, for the women, and I guess we could kind of go back and forth. So men what to look for, women what to look for in your case.
Yes.
So another one, men, that you can look for ladies is maybe a nervousness. Some women get really nervous when they're interested in a man because unlike men, women don't kind of have the expectation of making it known that they're interested in someone, right? Society kind of has it set up where men are the pursuers and women are the receivers of pursuit.
Yeah.
So a woman, if she's really interested in you or if she likes you, she might just be a little bit nervous because she doesn't know what to say. She hasn't had a lot of practice in that area. So,
she could just be taken off guard.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say that's something else to look for men if you're wondering if a woman is interested in you.
Okay. I want to elaborate a little bit more on the compliments.
Okay.
Because I said just now small talk, and I also kind of hinted on compliments, but compliments is a big one. Men, if a man is interested in you, majority of the times he will compliment things that you do. He will compliment, things that, you compliment your physical attribute in a lot of different ways. And it might have to be your physicalness that he's complimenting. It might be your work. It might be your behavior. It might be, the way you do something or do things. So compliments is a definite sign, that shows that a man is, interested or getting interested, already interested. So, yeah, that's one. You got another one?
Sure. Okay. So I'm gonna go a little on the side for the woman that might be interested in you, but maybe not as expressive. Like the woman that may be nervous may express that by giggling a lot around you, or just generally acting nervous. Another woman though may be a lot more reserved yet confident in a way where she doesn't display nervousness. So how would you tell when you're dealing with that type of woman if she's interested? And that can be a little bit more tricky, but in this case I would say pay attention to what that woman does say to you. When you all do speak, pay attention to what she's saying, because again, she may carry herself in a very confident manner where you really can't tell. Some people just have that really good poker face.
Yeah.
But with this woman, when you two do exchange conversation, pay attention to what the words are. It could be as simple as asking you, how's your family at home? And I know that may be a mixed signal that I'm sending out. However, for women that are a little bit more sly in their approach, that can be her way of seeing if you have a family. Are you single? Are you married? Do you have kids? If you two are a little bit more comfortable, she may even push the envelope and say, I heard you're a playboy, or I know you're a ladies' man. Okay. And so that could be her way of, if she does know you're single, still kind of testing you out to see what type of man you are, if you're available, and if you're even interested in companionship.
So she's asking without asking.
Asking without asking. That's definitely a technique.
The next one for men is being courteous. A man will definitely be courteous if he's interested in you. And his level of courteous could go, on a different scale. It could be as courteous as, bringing you coffee. It could be as courteous as buying you little things, paying for your lunch, doing certain little things. Asking, are you okay today? Can I buy you lunch today? Can I take you out for, breakfast? Can I take you for lunch? Whatever it is. Being courteous is a definite sign that a man or a man is definitely interested and is showing you that he's there for you and can be courteous.
Okay. How can women and men decipher the difference between someone who is interested in them romantically versus someone that maybe is just being friendly? Of course, you will have instances where maybe someone buys you lunch and they're genuinely just doing a good gesture, or maybe someone is courteous enough to open the door for you, but they're just being a gentleman. So
how do you differentiate that?
From your point of view, how is that differentiated?
I would say actions are seeds. Actions are seeds. So the first step of that action might be a seed planted. Now, if the seed doesn't grow, then it's just a friendly situation. If it grows, if that seed starts to growing, where this morning might bring you coffee, next week might offer to buy you breakfast, the week, following week or following day might be lunch, and then the conversation ensued. So you're saying the consistency will determine the difference. Most definitely. And sometimes not only the consistency, because as a man, sometimes you will do things for a woman, especially if you all work in a small area or y'all are close, than majority of the people that are there, or you're in a confined space on a day-to-day basis. That relationship could definitely be friendship. But as I said again, once that seed starts growing and it moves from that to probably something else, like the questions start. Do you have someone in your life? Do you have a boyfriend? Whatever it is, you can see that seed growing and blossoming more into that direct interest. So yes.
Interesting. I would say for some women, a way that they show that they're interested in a man is by making themselves seen. Of course, this varies from woman to woman. Okay. Every woman will have her differences in how she goes about making herself seen. Some women are a little bit more animated than others.
Most definitely.
You'll have women that want to put on a show for your attention. And then you'll have other women that may want to lay a little bit more under the radar, but they still want to make their presence known. And women go about this in different ways. Of course, I can't speak for all women, but an example would be, say you frequent the same place. Either you work together, maybe you're at school together, maybe you frequent the same restaurant, whatever the case may be. If the woman is always walking past your desk or walking past your vision point of reference, just making it a point to let you know that she's present in the room. You know, maybe she has something going on about herself. Maybe she had a new outfit on that day and she wants to make sure don't nobody else see it, you see it. Now, of course, it's challenging to know when someone is doing this, but if you hone in and pay a little bit closer attention, that's something you might notice. Like, dang, this girl always walks around my desk around lunch period when she knows that all my colleagues are gone and it's just me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So those are certain things that you can kind of tie in together for a clue.
Okay. And I would say one of the other reasons to tell that a man is interested in you is by him asking you out, by him extending that invitation, for you to accompany him, maybe to a party, to a get together, to a family function, at the barbecue, but just extending that invitation to you. And that is very tricky as well, because a person will, extend an invitation to you to go somewhere and it's a one-time thing. But if you see it constantly happening, if he constantly asks you, and it all depends too. Sometimes a man will go directly for a date, so automatically right off the bat that he's interested. Or he might ask you out and light occasions, a function, to go grab something to eat. Small places. Sometimes guys don't just go for the jugular. Sometimes they like to feel out the situation. Just have that small talk, because you gotta, a lot of men like to maneuver their way first just to see what's going on, to see if you got a boyfriend, if you're married, if you got a husband, to have that small talk and then maneuver to, ask you out. So I'd say definitely by a guy asking out a female it definitely shows signs of interest.
Yes. So that just takes me, we're gonna pivot a little bit. Because of course I know many of you are watching this video thinking, okay, I think he or she might like me, but I'm not really sure because I don't seem like their type, or maybe there's a little bit of mixed signals going on. So I'm sure many of you not only want to know how to know somebody's interested in you, but maybe how to kind of influence somebody's interest in you a little bit.
Okay.
For example, if you think you're dealing with a man or a woman that like you a little bit, but maybe they're not on the fence, maybe they're on the fence a little bit, maybe and all of this of course is what you've come up with in your head. This is not necessarily fact or fiction, but now you want to figure out, okay, how can I maybe get that person's attention a little bit more, or at least directly gauge if they like me. So this is something that will definitely have further discussions about. If you're interested in our gold package, where we can give you one-on-one personalized coaching, we can kind of get more insight into the exact situation you're in and how you can move closer to maybe gauging that person's interest. Because it's not about making someone like you, it's just about knowing what qualities are naturally attractive to people.
Yes.
Right? Because I think universally, all of us as human beings, we're universally attracted to certain qualities, certain traits, and these are things that you can tweak and improve in order to gain someone's interest in you that you think may be on the fence. However, we always encourage you all to keep in mind that if someone is not genuinely showing interest in you, if it's more work than it is reward, then of course we would talk about taking some other routes in love.
Most definitely. And the easiest of all, you can ask.
Now, most people aren't so brave, but
You can ask, ask a person. If you feel like, something is there and, you're not sure, you can always ask. Might be, as you said, a lot of people wouldn't, don't like just going for the juggler just to ask that question because it might be kind of awkward, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes, staying true and being honest is the best way. You go ahead and you hit it head on. Hey, are you interested in me? Because of what you've been seeing or whatever it is. So you can definitely go ahead and,
Absolutely. And of course, this is not what's saying that asking somebody if they like you, if that's easy to do, or it definitely puts you in a vulnerable situation. So if you would like to walk through that a little bit more of ways where you can ask someone without directly asking them if they're interested in you, that's definitely something that we could work on a little bit more with you.
Most definitely. Yeah, so those are some of the few ways that you can, identify if someone is definitely interested in you. Some situations will be much more easier than some. Some things will be very much easy to identify. Some people walk over and give you that, that talk, just to say, hey, I've seen you, just want to know what your situation is. I am interested, and, what is your situation? Do you have a boyfriend? Whatever it is. Some situations will be easier than some. Some will be a little bit more complicated. People are different within themselves. People are made up different. People approach situation differently. So each situation will be unique to that person, or each situation will be unique in its own self. So the approach will always be different. The approach will always be different. And then even in some situations, you will have the dorky type people that will, approach you with jokes, with laughter, with joy, with certain things to show their interest. You'll have the comedian that will tell you jokes to, get you laughing, to get you, moving, and that will spark something. As I said, everybody, everyone got their own different approach. Every situation is unique to its own self. Some are way more difficult because some people approach is kind of unique, just to say, some people approach is very unique. They will be interested and you will never know because it always seems like mixed signals. This moment they will say something nice, the next moment they probably don't say anything at all. One moment it might seem a little bit flirtatious, the next minute it might be nothing, and it leaves a person confused a lot of times, to cipher through all that to say, I'm wondering if she, if she got something for me or if she's not, or I wonder if he's, pursuing me or not. Sometimes it could get a little iffy, but that's what we are here for. We could comb through those hairs, unleash the knots, get the fine-tune it up, and let you know that something is there or something is not there. Because as I said again, each situation is very unique. You got people pursuing people for years, and they just not knowing.
Yeah, which is ridiculous because the truth is, life is short, you guys, and unless you are tied to someone, and if you're already in a committable relationship, then there are certain guidelines for that, which we will get into later in this journey together.
Yes.
These are things that we'll of course discuss. But if you're single and you're out there and you're interested in someone, or you want to know if someone is interested in you, don't let so much time pass you by because things change quickly in this world.
Yes.
The single guy that you've been eyeing for 10 months could be married this time next year.
Exactly.
So
without him knowing that probably you had something for him. And when, if it should ever happen that y'all both sit down to have a conversation and you say it, he'd be blown away like, I could have never tell. So sometimes it's good. I've known people that, had mutual like for each other and went off in separate direction because no communication was made. No communication took place and people wandered off in separate directions.
It happens.
Only to come back around and have a conversation out of the blues one day and, a female is saying, I had a little crush on you back then, and you like, but I had a crush on you too, but I didn't thought you did. And then it's weird because both of them could be that couple, but just didn't communicate, liked each other a lot, you know, and didn't make no move. No, they end up in separate situation. Which, not that those situations aren't good, but could have been something, or could have been two people that would have made each other happy.
Absolutely. So on this journey, you guys, we want to take you through the steps to successfully harmonize and merge your energy with the person that you're interested in, or the person that you're dating, or the person that you're married to, you know. And these are things that take work, energy, and commitment, but we are here to help. So let's get through the very initial stage of first knowing if this person is even interested in you. Let's get that part covered so that we can move on to more exciting things like dating, relationships, commitments, sex, and
what
all.
to look for in a person, if you know what to look for in a person that's gonna be substantial for you.
Yes. All right.
You know, so.
All right. So we will see you guys next week in the next video. Thanks so much for being a part of Merge Club, and we will see you next time.
Most definitely.
Are you me lover, you me want to be my only cheek. Girl, give me your finger, me have to put a ring on it. Night nurse, me addicted to your nightly trick. Never get a loving like this, like this.